Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
So, I'm wondering, do you do puzzles? Or, what do you do to try and keep your brain feeling young?
So, what I did for the last couple of years was a master's degree. No. And so
okay.
That, I don't know if it kept my brain feeling young, but it definitely kept my brain busy. I do love puzzles.
Okay.
In fact, over those COVID years that we like to forget, one of the greatest memories I have is doing lots of puzzles. I did quite a few, and some of many thousands of pieces. So I really enjoy that. And I do like that challenge of like getting it done. I do it in a certain amount of time. So like, I push myself to find that. And so I put off all television and all that kind of stuff and just focus on that. And I think it really helps you, helps me think about, or at least distract me from one thing while honing skills in another area.
Do you do crossword puzzles and word searches as well?
So jigsaw puzzles are fun. I do like word searches.
Okay.
I do them the old-fashioned way on paper. I actually have some books of, word searches at my house on the coffee table.
You can find them at the grocery stores all the time.
They're cheap, and it's just fun to sit down and do that every now and then. It's, get off the digital and just, think about something different.
Well, the reason why I ask is I ran across a study that came out in December of 25.
Okay.
And it was put out by UT Austin, or the University of Texas at Austin. It came in the Science Daily periodical.
Okay.
And it was talking about keeping our brains young. Or more specifically, as we get older and our brains get older, how to keep them from turning to mush or Swiss cheese.
Right.
Which is an issue I have to worry about because, I don't remember things as well as I used to.
Right.
And I know they talk a lot about, with dementia or Alzheimer's, things that we want to do to keep our brains functioning. And so I was just wondering, kind of what you do, because, some of that they also talk about, not just puzzles, but though puzzles are a big thing, how we eat, how we exercise, how we sleep, all of these. In fact, I have really become better understanding of the value that sleep has.
Sure.
As far as our social function, our emotional function, our cognitive functions. I think they call it sleep hygiene. But I just didn't know how much of this do you pay attention to in your daily life as, we're getting, ready for ARP membership.
They've already been contacting me for years. So, I am very much involved in trying to better my health, and that includes sleep and other things. So, I've talked prodigiously, I guess, about like reading books. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. And reading books has driven me away from television in a lot of ways. So, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I hear people talking about all these great TV shows, and I always wonder, how do you have enough time to watch those? Sure. But that's just because I've adjusted what I do, right? There would be time, but I find myself getting bored with them quickly.
Well, in this study, and this is what I thought was kind of interesting. In this study, they were talking about, they reviewed or tracked 30,000 people for more than 20 years. And they were looking at all the different things that they did. And this is why I thought maybe we could talk about this, because it had an unintended result that came out of this study. And that was, we can talk about sleep. We can talk about exercise. We can talk about diet. We can talk about playing puzzles of all sorts.
Sure.
But the one thing that they came up with that they were surprised with is one of the best ways, if not one of the best ways, but a way to significantly slow down cognitive decay of our brain.
Sure.
Is to help other people.
Well, that's interesting.
And I thought so too. And everything can count. There's not like, you got to only do this or only do that. There's all kinds of things, but how much time do we spend in our day helping other people?
So does it matter whether, like, for instance, you and I both have careers that are inherently about helping other people, right? I mean, you moved from the teaching world to the professional counseling world, and so you're directly helping people who are seeking you to get help.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And I am still in the teaching world, and so I'm helping students, some of them seeking it, some of them getting the help whether they really want to or not. So it's just it's still, helping people. For instance, if you're a mechanic, you're definitely helping somebody who has a problem.
Yeah.
But is there a difference between, or any distinction between having a career, a job where you are inherently helping people in order to get paid, or is this more about spending time, like, voluntarily unpaid, helping people do stuff?
I think that it kind of depends a little bit. Since we are predominantly talking about people over 50,
okay,
now we're talking about people that are, maybe your career can have some of that, but let's dive into this and find out.
Yeah.
Because as people our age are looking less towards our career,
sure,
and more towards what is my post-career life look like. And most jobs out there are helping people. We are a service economy here in the United States.
Sure.
But I think that it's when we are doing less work, or once we're retired and we're not into, like, okay, when my dad and mom retired, they left the city, they moved out to the country, and my dad went back to his roots of living on a farm.
Right.
And so that's, I don't know how much help you actually get into that, but I thought that let's save that question.
Okay.
And when we get to the end, we'll see if we have an answer to that question. All right. So the first thing is, again, as I said, the study focused on people 51 and over. So basically between their early 50s through their early 70s.
Okay.
And they tracked them for 20 years. All right. And the one fact that they said, or that the results, the study, whatever, showed that these individuals that engaged in helping others saw anywhere between a 15 and 20% less decline in their cognitive decline.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I don't know if I've said that correctly or not.
I mean,
but
it does.
So that's kind of what I thought was really cool. Again, it's a long-term study, or a longitudinal study.
Okay.
So you can that's what I found really interesting, is that I felt like, oh, well, this is something I can trust. Again, it wasn't something we just tracked over a period of months. We tracked this for 2 decades.
Right.
And a 20% decline, or 20% decrease, or I wonder if you would count it as an increase. Anyway, your brain decline was significantly less when you could prove that you were helping other people.
Right. So basically, we're going to, as we age, have cognitive decline no matter what.
Yes.
And so, but theirs was less than other people who weren't helping people.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. So thank you for clarifying that. And because, again, my dad died from dementia. Mm-hmm. Well, technically it wasn't dementia that killed him. It was a physical illness. But, and same way with Alzheimer's. And I think so many people have been impacted with, if not themselves, at least their parents or grandparents that died from, or, suffered as they got older in life, the issues of dementia or Alzheimer's. And I can't think of anything. Well, I can think of a few things, but really, I think that is a horrible sentence to be given.
Yeah, and I think that it's important, right? Because while that may not kill you per se, something else might. It's difficult to watch and go through, and one can only imagine what it's like for the actual person experiencing it. Mm-hmm. But I think that we see a lot more of that, and I think maybe the public is more concerned about it because we have such medical advancements that keep us living longer. Mm-hmm. And so, again, the older we get, the more cognitive decline we will have eventually. And so, as we live longer, right, that's a concern. So I'm fascinated by this, that, maybe there's a way. I'm not saying it's a cure, right?
Right.
Maybe there's a way to slow that down, but also create some enjoyment in our lives.
Well, and that's, I thank you. You couldn't have said it any better. I couldn't have said it any better, because here's the thing. When they were looking at the kind of, and I'm going to put this in air quotes here, help that you do, it didn't, there wasn't really, they looked at it both formally and informally.
Right.
And so the one thing that they did discover was less about the type of help and the consistency. If you regularly were active in helping other people, that was the bigger influence in slowing down that decline. It was less about the what and more about the how often.
Okay, so if I am a 50-something-year-old mechanic or teacher or professional counselor or, hospital technician or nurse or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm helping people every day, so that should have, based on that, think, right?
Sure.
That should have some positive effect, even though there's other factors playing in.
And that the study really didn't dive into. Okay. This was more of the beyond the work kind of exploration.
Okay, so we got to do something more with our time.
Well, because that's our job.
Yeah.
And can we truly separate the job from the unintended consequences of helping? Because here's what they were showing, more as I understood, was the idea that if we could average between 2 to 4 hours a week of volunteering type behaviors,
okay,
doing different, there was all kinds of things that you could do, but the idea that if we were the sweet spot, mm-hmm. you can do more, but more wasn't going to really get you more benefits. You can do less. You don't have to do 2 to 4 hours a week, but you may not get the full benefits.
Right.
So they identified that 2 to 4 hours a week of deliberate volunteering type activities would get you some of the best results.
Okay.
All right. And it was repetitive. It wasn't it had to be one big, massive thing, but something that you can do that was simple, something that was regular, something that might be a routine, because again, it was something measurable.
So what would you think of if you were to think of in your life, like what would that look like? What would be something that you would do that might align with this and help you?
I think,
while helping others.
Sure. I was a volunteer for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Okay.
Back when I was in college.
Yeah.
And we had actually grandparents that were part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters program.
Yeah.
So doing that, I think volunteering at the library. Mm-hmm. I think you talk about school, volunteering at your local elementary school.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, they would be very grateful to, grandparents coming in or reading or helping, whatever it might be. I think, helping out at a food pantry or a mm-hmm. soup kitchen, helping out at church, whatever that might be. Because there's, crying out loud, at the church I go to, there's, probably 25, 30 different things you could volunteer to participate in. Sure. So I think anything that you're doing that is a volunteer type activity that you can regularly do.
Yeah, I know that I've done some kind of one-off volunteering things in this area where there's some nonprofits that advertise all through the church, but also through their own means, and they always need volunteers. Mm-hmm. And so I packaged things, mm-hmm. Whatever food that was being sent off to faraway countries mm-hmm. For people that are hungry, and then also like toiletries and things that mm-hmm. were needed here for people who are having financial issues. Mm-hmm. And so, there's such a large amount of opportunities that are out there. And one of the things that I find fascinating about this is that not only would it help yourself according to this, mm-hmm. as far as your cognitive decline, but it creates those relationships and it builds mm-hmm. a community.
Sure. And you and I have talked on many occasions about the power that relationships can have. I used to work for a wholesale food company, mm-hmm. and one of our clients was Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
And and they were predominantly volunteers that would take the meals to the senior citizens. You could volunteer to do that. There's just, you're right. It's about the relationships, that it's a bonus side benefit that you get out of this.
Right.
One of the things that came out in the study that I thought was also very unique is that if you stop, you lose the benefits.
Yeah.
And so let's say you're doing it now. Let's say, that's something that you and I do, but, a year or two from now, we call it quits. Okay, then the benefits will also quit.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that you're helping others and you're helping yourself, as you just said.
Yeah.
So
this seems like it should be obvious, right? Like you think about people who retire, and unfortunately, it's this isn't an empirical study, right? Like I'm just saying what I tend to observe. A lot of people who retire will not know what to do.
Sure.
And so decline takes place fast. And I'm not necessarily saying cognitive decline. I'm just saying like drive for life and all those things. And eventually health gets bad and you're gone. And, whereas I wonder like if people would make a choice to jump out of retirement, into retirement by jumping into something else where they can volunteer, where they can do some things, where they can be involved and have relationships and all the things that you might have had from a workplace, but now you can get somewhere else. Like that's got to be a benefit.
I think so. And I think that one of the reasons why this study really kind of appealed to me was the idea of, and again, I think a lot of it has to do, as you and I are pushing closer to retirement age than we are entering the workforce age.
I mean, in actual numbers, I suppose, but I don't know if I'll ever see retirement.
Well, okay, fair point. But you and I worked with a gentleman who recently went into retirement, and he really struggled for many years trying to figure out, well, okay, if I retire, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I began to ask the question, how many other people, well, okay, I'm going to retire. I want to retire. I'm done with this job.
Right.
Okay, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And so that's why I found this very intriguing. What can you do? Well, find somewhere to volunteer. There's so many opportunities. You talk about options. I had a friend who would volunteer at American Airlines Center, or not a center, but American DFW Airport. And she would basically greet people coming into the airport, and they would have questions. So she would help man a kiosk of, hey, where do I go for this? Hey, how do I find that? Yeah. And she said she thoroughly enjoyed it. She had really cool pictures of very famous people, whether they were athletes, Hollywood type, musician type, because they would be in the airport. And so anyway, so again, volunteering. But here's what I really thought was intriguing. Was the brain improvement, or the power that it has on the brain.
Okay.
And when we're volunteering, we're getting that social interaction that we need. All right. Because we are social animals, and we really do predominantly better when we're engaging with folks. So you get that. When you're volunteering, you're having to also problem solve. So you're activating your brain that way.
Okay.
You're planning. You're planning your schedule. So I'm doing 4 hours a week. Maybe it's an hour a day, 4 days a week. All right, but you're planning your day around that. What you do before, what you're going to do after. It also forces you to engage in emotional regulation so that way you just can't fly off the handle, kind of like sometimes I've been known to do when I drive. But all of these allow our brains to continue to function, which is why it slows down that decline, because we're stimulating our brain in many different capacities.
Yes.
You and I have talked before off air about, the value of summer vacation. And we talked, you get that break, that release, that enjoyment of, no school for a while, but also what does that do to especially younger kids? But when you come back to school, how much do you have to retrain your brain? How much do we have to retrain ourselves to get back into school shape? Because I know it took me probably several weeks. That's why I enjoyed 2 weeks of back to school, because I had to get in that waking up. And
I think maybe it gets harder as the years go, but
okay.
Or or not. But I think, usually I'm ready by the time we go back to school. I'm ready to do it.
I was.
I'm refreshed. I've studied up on a lot of other things.
True.
During that time period. So,
but it took my body a while to get used to being, going to bed on time, waking up on time, and getting to work on time because I was in vacation mode. So that's kind of where this helps to keep you from falling into that. Mm-hmm. Part of the actual brain is by doing these things, we can, with helping others in this volunteer capacity, we are helping lower our chronic stress. Because life is stressful, but when we are engaging with people, we're helping. Mm-hmm. Well, if I'm helping you solve a problem, I'm helping you relieve your stress.
Yeah.
I'm not engaging in stress, but I'm actually decreasing my stress by helping you decrease yours. Mm-hmm. So again, the issues on the brain. Because one of the things that they have been able to prove, not just this study, but in many others as well, is that stress, chronic stress in particular, actually has a negative impact on our memory.
Okay.
And so if we can lower our stress by helping you lower your stress, ta-da, I'm helping my brain then be able to continue to function at a higher level longer.
Yeah.
All right. So here's something else too. And I saw this with older folks that I've known. Sherry's mom lives with us, and watching her decline kind of really began when she stopped working because, now she worked well into her 70s, but when she basically had a contract to clean the school and church where they were members. And when she lost that, well, as a result, her sense of feeling useful really took a hit.
Yeah.
And so that psychological hit really sped up her decline. Mm-hmm. And so the idea that if we're volunteering, I'm feeling useful. I know my dad, when he was retiring, his buddies were saying, "Oh, well, how long before you go get you a minimum wage job?" And my dad goes, "Please, I am never going to take a minimum wage job. If I wanted to work minimum wage, I'd stay working here where I'm getting paid way above minimum."
Right.
I can tell you that it took a few years, but my dad volunteered. Well, he didn't volunteer. He took a job driving a school bus.
Yeah.
And then he took but it wasn't for the money. It was to be involved, do something.
Have purpose.
A neighbor ran a turkey farm. And so he didn't work a lot, but he worked with the neighbor running a turkey farm. Yeah. And again, the idea, I need to feel useful.
I think that's the question, right? I mean, when you think about retirement, everybody's like, well, what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. What's my purpose going to be now? Mm-hmm. And I think that's an important question, because I think that if I think of myself as not having purpose, then why do I get up in the morning?
And that's
the struggle that I would have.
Oh, absolutely. And that having a sense of purpose is very motivational to, like you just said, why am I getting up today? Oh, because I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go be here. They're counting on me.
Yeah.
And so it helps maintain our emotional well-being. And again, when we're feeling this way, it helps our brain. Mm-hmm. So, and again, I guess one of the last things that I'll share about this study as far as the benefits goes back to something we've talked about not just earlier or a few minutes ago, but we've talked about before as well, is not only are we making new relationships, new friendships, it's taking them and making them stronger and deeper.
Yeah, absolutely. It builds community, right? You're building those relationships, and those will likely last. My concern, though, is my curiosity, right? Moves from the relationship piece, because we have talked about that, to what if I can't find a formal volunteering opportunity, right? Like, what if it's, do I have to go find something where I go to Boys and Girls Club, or where I'm, volunteering at a YMCA, or, at the local food bank or whatever? Like, what if I'm just helping my neighbors?
I think that it depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because, I think you can. If you are known as the taxi person, if you've got some elderly people in your community or in your neighborhood or in your apartment complex and you're giving them a ride, give them a ride to the doctor's office, give them a ride to the grocery store.
Not just as a rideshare driver, but
right.
Just helping them out.
I mean, if you are helping your children by watching their children, you're the babysitter. It doesn't have to be every day, but if you are, giving mom, we all know that sometimes being a parent can be very stressful. I need a break from my children. So if you say, you know what, on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 2, I'll watch the kids, give you a mommy's day out, go have lunch with some adults and have some adult conversations. Helping other people run errands. These are things that you can do that are not necessarily formal, but you're right. To answer your question about informal kind of things, these are stuff that we can do, helping family members, helping neighbors.
Yeah.
That, again, it's not your problems that you're solving. You're helping someone else solve their
those are some of my favorite things. I mean, I love to go and help out with those formal volunteering opportunities, and I will definitely continue to do that. But I also like seeing a need right away, right? Like a neighbor might have, a friend has, and just saying, you know what? I'm here for you. I'll help you out with that.
And that is, I think, part of this too, is the idea that, and here's the thing that they found in the study, that more than half of people over 50 already do a lot of this stuff. So the idea is not that this is revolutionary and people aren't doing it right now. They are. But the idea is to, and at least as I understood it and why I found the article and the research very beneficial, is let's keep doing it.
Right. Well, I think that if we're doing something good, let's recognize that we're doing it and what it's doing for us. And we're more likely to continue to do it or get other people involved in also doing it. And so I think that's the key here.
Well, because if we can do that, and again, there's so many across the board benefits, social, economic, but now if we can say physical, then again, just another reason to continue to encourage, to develop the idea that we need to more volunteering is better.
And I think that that's important. And without having known about this study before that, I mean, thinking about my life as I came out of COVID and the move that we took to Texas, there were some goals that I had for me and my family. And, one of those things was physical health, and surrounding physical health, as I thought about it, was something about community, right? Being able to connect more in community. And I felt like I could do that better in Texas because of the environment that we moved into, which is so compact that, and I've definitely connected with a lot of friends, people that I talk to regularly, done the podcast, I mean, all these things, right? So I think that's been a goal that I think I've met, and I'm looking forward to the positive outcomes from that.
Well, and I'm glad you brought up the non-formal ways of helping, because I think the idea that, I got to go volunteer at church and meet people I don't know, that's scary, that's intimidating. But if you're helping your neighbors, if you're helping your family, these are people that you already know, people that you're already in contact with. And what I loved about the study is that it said it has the same benefits. You still get the same cognitive benefits, because again, it's about the consistency of what you're doing rather than who you're doing it for.
Yeah.
And so, and again, so if you're feeling that I'm a little gun shy, I'm a little, intimidated by meeting new people, well, okay, congratulations. You don't have to meet new people. Just help out the people that you are currently,
Yeah.
Because here, I guess the best part is as we get older, our social network gets smaller.
Yeah.
And when our social network gets smaller, well, that's part of that cognitive decline. So this helps keep our social network kind of full and potentially grow so that way we're able to maintain that social connection, which, as I said before, we're social creatures. We need this as much as, we need it emotionally as well as physically.
And so I think that, kind of wrapping up on this, I think that, finding that thing that you can do that matches something that you have an ability for and an energy level for, right? Like, if you don't have energy, don't go rake the neighbor's yard, right?
Yeah.
Find something to do with paperwork or something, right? Like find just something, but, match those abilities and energy. And then, maybe it'll connect with something you're already doing or some passion you already have.
Exactly. I mean, all you got to do is schedule it. All right. Scheduling is consistent scheduling is part of how you maintain this benefit. But as I said before, when we are able to schedule it, well, that helps with planning and problem solving. And since a lot of us are already doing some form of help, well, now we're kind of taking it to, we're kind of making it, I don't want to say formal, but in a way we are by putting it on our calendar that, hey, this is what we're going to do. But you can blend your work with your social so that this helping is across the board beneficial for everyone.
Right.
And I guess the biggest thing is, and this is what I liked most, is it's not about the perfection of your job, but about the sustainability. Just do it. Regular, consistent, weekly, 2 to 4 hours. I mean, crying out loud, I can spend 2 to 4 hours a day watching TV. I'm not as good as you at.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying I don't enjoy it all that much.
Well,
but that's perfect, right?
Sure.
Sustainability is what's important there. I mean, this is fabulous stuff. I think this has been great. I'm looking forward to seeing how my routine can change.
Well, and me too. Because as I read this, I thought, well, maybe, I've been sitting on the fence thinking, well, maybe I should volunteer at church or get involved in something beyond just me and my economic improvement.
Yeah.
What can I do to help benefit the society and community in which I live? And so I guess I'll just get off my butt and go volunteer.
Well, we're definitely over our time. So,
oh, shoot. Okay.
But this has been wonderful.
All right. Well, again, volunteer because both your community and your brain are going to benefit. So until next time, I better go volunteer. I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
See ya.
Bye-bye.